What's up, Internet? What's happening? Who was first to the chat today? I didn't catch it. Tim Lewis, first to the chat. Ho-ho! First one to the chat today. What's up, Tim? How you doing? Happy Friday to everybody out there. Anyone that's excited about Friday, congratulations. You've made it. You've made it to the end of the week. If you have a traditional work week, if you have a non-traditional work week, here it begins. The weekend. The busy weekend for all of you out there. Industry folks, service people, whatever, here comes the weekend. Get ready. Hopefully you have a clean pair of pants and you're ready to go, because this is going to be a busy one. This is going to be a busy weekend. If those of you that don't know, the weekend before Thanksgiving is normally a soul-crushing onslaught of people. Onslaught of people coming in to, get ready for not going anywhere next weekend. And so Tim Lewis is here. Candy Overhauls, what's up? Candy Overhauls and Mr. Caleb. Yeah, where's Caleb? Where's Caleb? Is Caleb around? Hello, Caleb. Surprises! I'll go and give early surprises for Caleb. What's up? Bill Elsden. I always say his name wrong. It's a difficult one for me. I don't know why. ELS is difficult. What's up, Bill? How you doing? I'm going to call you Bill E from now on. What's up, Bill? Zelfer Knight is here. Dank Tanks, Kevin Keener, Cute Nix with the waves. Hello. If you guys didn't catch on yesterday, Cute sent us a brand new Cute Nix in the chat there sent us a brand new monitor for all of the new setup going on over here, and thank you very much. I wholeheartedly appreciate it. It was crazy. It's like, hey, send you a new monitor. It's like, oh, and now it's here. The guy just kind of showed up out of the blue last night and dropped off a brand spanking new monitor, which is fantastic. It's replacing the one that basically it's the one that really strains my eyes and kind of gives me migraines type feelings. It gives me headaches. I'm one of those people that gets ocular migraines. I don't really anymore, but by the end of the day, my eyes just feel like I got sandpaper in them working on that monitor. And now, happy to say, it'll be donated to charity. The charity donation thing is coming, I think, next week. No, I don't know. Now I don't know. Now I have to say I don't know, but Vicky said she was putting all the stuff because they were coming to get it, so I don't know when that comes. But that one will get donated, and somebody out there that needs it will get it, which would be dope. So thank you very much, Cute Nix, for the monitor. Huge appreciation here. That is that's big time. That's big time. Thank you very much. Bare Bottom Aquariums is here. Hey. Steven Skoglund is say first. Look. Mellow Moogle's here. What's up? 54 Punchy. Corvus first to his own live stream. Yes, I typed in the first to see if the chat was working. I guess it didn't load up early today. For whatever reason. I had the stream schedule thing on, but it didn't open up early, so we didn't get the early action. I don't know why. It gets weird sometimes, the internet's. Spencer Ballard is here. CJ Black is here. Glass Boxes, what's up? Turbo Fish, how you doing? Hopefully you're nearing the end of your week, maybe. Maybe you don't have to Candy Factory for the weekend. I don't know. Fake Name is here. What's up? Fish Out of Water. Oh, hello. Oh, hello. Mellow Moogle at least got a notification this time. There we go. That's that's new and improved. So at least the notifications are going on. Marybeth Mabe can't hang out, but stop to say hi. Hello, Marybeth. Good to see you. Nisi of the North is here. Sergeant Tank Pets, otherwise known as Jeremy. What's up, my man? Good to see you. Wyatt Ward, Wushu Jimmy Brown. Jeffro is here. What's up, man? I love Jeffro's little avatar. I love that avatar. That's dope. I hope you made that, or at least found it free shared. If not, V Stag is here. What's up? Let's see. Nathaniel John. What's up? CJ, not CJ. CNH Aquatics is here. What's up? How you doing? I want Mr. Chips to finish his doctoral thesis so he can become Dr. Chips. I would love him to finish his thesis. I'm always ragging on him to finish his thesis and get his doctorate done, at least get it peer reviewed and all that kind of stuff. But he doesn't seem interested. He doesn't seem interested in this. He was very motivated early on in his his career, his career path to become a doctor of I forget what was. Hey man, what's your specific? What were you going to be a doctor in? He says he's going to be a doctorate in music, is what he was going to say, is what he said. So he's going to be a doctor in music. So whatever that implores was going to be his doctorate. But I just keep getting on him, but he won't do it. He just doesn't want to do it. He says, what's the point? What's the point? What's the big deal? Kim Blomberg is here. Holy moly, another live stream. Sweet greetings from Denmark. Oh, hello, Denmark. Hello to all the Denmarkians. Sorry, Danish. That's a lot of my heritage. A lot of my heritage is Danish. People were, if anybody was wondering, which they probably weren't. Let's see, like Peeping Tina in the background. Thanks, Nisi. I like it. Head over to Darkstar Arts if you guys are interested in any of my art. I know most of you are interested in aquarium stuff, so we're going to talk about that today. I know that how the filtration concern continues to baffle a lot of people. So I'm actually the filtration material came in the mail, strangely enough, a couple days early. It was supposed to get here next week, so it came. It came early by their shipping standards, but late by me getting to do my maintenance on time. So it came. I was like, all right, well, the stuff I was going to work on today will just have to wait because that video will come out Wednesday next week. So some of that stuff that was going on that was going to be today's video ended up being is going to get pushed to next week. So that's the update on that, and I'd like to keep you guys appraised of the schedule. So next week is weird. Next week is Thanksgiving. So Monday, Tuesday, I'm actually going to be up at the co-op on Monday and Tuesday. So get your questions ready for the combination of me and Corey from aquariumcoop.com. If you haven't been over there, go check it out. I'll be up there, so we'll be doing that stuff. I'm going to see if we can get some video segment added in, but I'm not sure with their setup. They have their own, the setup is up there, so we have to work off of that stuff. So there'll probably just be goofy chat Monday and Tuesday, probably. If anybody's into that, then that will be Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday, like I said, a lot of the video stuff that I've been shooting that was going to go for today, it'll actually be pushed to Wednesday, and we're going to which will be some reef stuff. I'll be drilling and scaping my reef tank, the other side of the tank that got kind of pushed off schedule-wise. And so we'll be doing a lot of that stuff. And then Friday we'll be back Probably normal on Friday, but on Thursday is going to be weird because we're going to be out on the road, so I won't be around Thursday. But my plan is to send out a couple of produced videos on Thanksgiving. And then if you're really jonesing, I'm gonna see if Vicky and I might stop by the Aquarium Co-op as Corey is doing an 8-hour live stream. So maybe we'll be able to swing in there and infuse a little energy for however long. Vicky is excited to meet Corey's bride and make her acquaintance and say hi. So we're gonna hopefully be doing that on Thanksgiving. So if you're have a strong jonesing for some live action, that will be going on most likely. I don't know what time that will be though. I cannot give you any kind of time frame that's going to happen. So you should probably just tune into the Co-op's 8-hour stream, just the whole thing. Just have the whole thing running in the background. Just run it as your like Thanksgiving music around your family, whatever, right? Bill Elsden. I'm an idiot. I'm a self-proclaimed idiot. Bill is doing some water changes for the Friday. Frank got stuck in the ductwork at Joel's house. Someone please send him help. He must be somewhere in the HVAC up in here, trapped. I haven't heard him, but I have heard some weird ghost noises, so maybe the ghost is actually Frank. So hopefully we'll see if Frank Dominguez shows up. I hope he's okay. We haven't seen him. Our reigning first to the chat champion has somehow disappeared these last couple days. My guess would be that he got scheduled for work, if I had to guess. Because I think the few times that he and I have had conversations, I think he works like third shift or something crazy like that. Maybe graveyard or maybe swing. I'm not 100% sure. We do have some Patreon contributions here to get to, and some Patreon questions to get to. So we're going to be answering those before we get to the video portion, which is a 2-part video portion today. Some computering nonsense that is going on. I know people are pretty excited about the studio over there, and so am I. We have some Goofy McGooferton stuff going on, and I'll explain that later. But and then, as I said, we'll be definitely going over some of the filtration stuff and like how I filter my tank. Give you guys like a real kind of in-depth look at basically like how I run my filter and sort of why. And the reasons why I make decisions for certain things, and how I do my basic regular old run-of-the-mill maintenance. So not like anything like really extensive, but just to give you guys kind of an idea of how I run my system, just kind of week by week, bi-weekly, monthly, whatever. Not like a huge breakdown or something of like, man, you got to do all this crazy work, dude. You realistically don't. And you guys will be able to see that in the video, you know what I'm saying? So, and of course I hardly have this organized here because of some of the nonsense today. But hopefully we are broadcasting today, because let's get on to a little more personal stories here from the day, I guess. I've spent the last 13 minutes, I think, talking about myself, so why don't we just keep doing it, right? So, as you guys know, there were some slight concerns with the internet here as far as the broadcasting speed and all of that kind of stuff, because the plan is to ultimately have the workstation over there is going to be all dedicated to streaming and recording. And, like, for instance, if people want to do Skype sessions or any of that kind of stuff, or like Google Hangouts or any of that nonsense, then we will always have it set up and ready to go. So that's been the whole reason for all of that. Then between Corey and I kind of broadcasting, we'll broadcast between the 70-mile gap in between our houses. And we're going like, man, I don't know. It seems like my end's buffering, or maybe your end is buffering. I'm not sure. So we basically just took I just threw my credit card on it and said, hey, fix it. We got to fix this. So I took a screenshot earlier. Hold on, let me see if I can't. I'll do this old school here. Well, actually, just get out my phone. And let's check here real quick. So okay, basically I have CenturyLink, and we lucked out because we were in an area that they added fiber optic to. So we actually have the fiber cable coming into the building. And our speed was pretty average or middling or something like that, but we might have ended up with a bit of a bottleneck because of whatever nonsense techie reason, right? So I called them because I was trying to figure it out, and I had Corey basically on hold, and was like, let me call these guys and see what's going on. And they were like, hey, do you want to upgrade? And I was like, yes, let's upgrade. What's that going to be? And they were like, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, let's do that. So the wonder was what was going on. But here is the current speed now. So my upload speed is 465 megs a second. My download speed is 465 megs a second. My upload speed is now 922 megs a second. So as long as YouTube or whatever server out there can take it, I could potentially upload whatever to them. At 1 gig a second, that basically means I could send a I could send at least, I could basically upload a Blu-ray in 6 seconds if the server could take it. So, was it worth it? I think so. Was it a huge pain in the butt today? Yes. So, as you guys know, if you've ever dealt with the cable guys, they're like, hey man, we'll be there between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. What up? You know, and you're like, okay. But initially I talked to the guy and he says, hey, looks like you're first or second on the thing. So they gave me the 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. window, right? And I was like, okay, cool. So I got up, I got some work done real quick, and then I was like, okay, that guy's going to be here, so I can't do too much because I can't really, like, screw with things too much because it might screw with him. Now, you think the guy was probably going to come early. I don't know. He probably just got hung up on whatever he was doing. He was a very nice guy. He was very knowledgeable, all that kind of stuff. But he came, and then he was ill-equipped with what the work order was supposed to be. Because he was like, oh, you have Comcast, right? So we're switching over and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, no, I have CenturyLink. That's you. That's why you're here. And he's like, I don't understand why I'm here. And I'm like, I don't understand why you're here either if you don't know why you're supposed to be here. So, long story short, I'll just kind of quicken it up here real quickly. He basically didn't have a modem, didn't know what he was here to do, didn't realize I was an existing customer, and the unfortunate side is that he was an installer, so he's not somebody who normally does the fiber optic stuff. He normally does the copper cable stuff, right? So, a little bit goofy. So I was the one that ended up having to program the modem and all that stuff and configure all the Wi-Fi and all that, which is fine. Not a huge ordeal, but he basically had to like get another guy to drive a modem to go get a modem, and then they wanted to charge me for the modem, and I'm like, no, I own my modem. I'm not buying another modem. You told me this is how much it was going to be, and I was like, look, I went through with the modem that I have, that would work, right? And that would be fine. We went through the serial number, we went through the model number, we went through all that stuff on the phone. No, I'm not buying another modem. Y'all, I can just have you hang out here all day and then have you kick rocks later if that's how this is going to go. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that guy. That's not what I want to do. What you all told me on the phone is the equipment you have is fine. We have to just send out a tech to basically fix some stuff, reconfigure some things, and have it work right. I'm like, okay, not a big problem. And then they go, well, your lease will be the same on this modem as it is on the other modem. I'm like, no, we bought the modem from you. So we own that modem. I'm not leasing another piece of equipment. Now, here's the cool thing. Customer service all came in because once they figured out what had gone on, that it was just basically a big miscommunication. These guys were super friendly the whole time, and it wasn't that big of a deal. But the end result was, hey, here's a free modem. We like you being our customer. We'll get it all set up. And then the guy didn't know how to configure it, so I was like, how about I just help you configure it, and we'll just run through this real quick. And he's one of those guys that's like, dude, I've worked here forever. I'm like the copper guy. I don't do this end of it. And I'm like, oh, okay, man, I can help you out with that. And he was like, they never sent me to school for it. And I was like, that's crazy. Just tell them to send you to school for this stuff, because the technology's not going backwards. He was a very cool dude, and we had a great time. It just took a lot of time. It took a ton more time than I realistically think it really should have been. So it was really one of those things that it took a really long time. It's realistically a funny story if I could tell it more like not on the internet necessarily. There's definitely some really funny parts of it that happened that I don't need to mention on the internet, but it's definitely something I could tell in a much better story, like in person, if you know what I'm saying. But it worked out pretty well. We got it done. And so I'm happy to say that at some point in time, I will readily be able to upload everything in 4K if we ever get to that point. And along with all the streaming and stuff, we have no bottleneck on this end. So the live streams could potentially go up to the 2K instead of just HD, which would be really helpful for, I don't know, so you guys could just figure out what this cut on my nose is or what this weird zit is over here. I don't know. Just you guys could just see my flaws more, right? And be like, oh, somebody spoiled the Mona Lisa. Oh. Let's see what's going on in the chat here. I would literally kill you for that connection from Corey. I wouldn't murder anyone for it. You could just order it. I wouldn't have to commit a murder. You wouldn't have to do it. Got to be violent for violent speeds. Oh, that's a strong language in the chat, you guys. Okay, just try to catch up with this. Wish us in the UK had Thanksgiving as well as Christmas, from Chloe. I wish you guys should just start doing it. That's one of the weird things, is that like some of those people out there are like, oh, Thanksgiving, just do it. Get together with your family, have a big meal. Who's gonna say otherwise? Who's gonna say otherwise? If you want to have your own Thanksgiving and it not be about pilgrims or whatever is supposed to, I'm gonna be honest with you. My family has always celebrated this stuff sort of in a very non-secular way, in the fact that I say that, like, there's no religion with the Christmas, there's no, remember the murderous pilgrims kind of situation with the Thanksgiving. It's always just been a family event, that all the family can get together, eat, and visit, and just spend some quality time together. So if that's something that you want to do, I don't think you necessarily need a holiday for it. Just coordinate them, cook a badass meal, and then I bet a bunch of people would show up. You know what I'm saying? You just say, hey, be here on Saturday at 2 o'clock, because I'm going to have a whole bunch of food for everybody, and we're going to do it. So, Chloe, that's what I would say. And that's what I would say, and that's what I would go with if I had some advice in regards to that. I would just say, just do it and call it Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? And just be like, I just got to do what I got to do, right? So everyone's saying that's amazing internet speed. It's pretty good, even though it's actually lower than it is supposed to be. So I'm going to keep working on the configuration here to make sure that everything is going to go correctly, and double checking the speed throughout the day to see what's going on. One of the big reasons for upgrading the internet, not only for the Skype sessions and to hopefully make the stream more HD, which would help promote it within YouTube without anybody having to do anything. YouTube would just push it forward because it's in 2K instead of just HD. Those two things, and then here's secret option number 3 that is pretty cool. If you guys remember when I did the fish room build, I put all the electrical in the ground, I put all the water in the ground, and by the way, I also put all the Ethernet cable into the ground. So here's one thing that will be pretty fun moving along here in the future. If I can get a solid internet connection signal out into the fish room, guess what? We could either I could hook up a camera out there that could we could always just switch the stream to see what's going on with the aquariums live, and then B, I could actually do streams from the fish room at some point in time. We could do a little bit more. We could do stuff from out there because right now it is sort of in a big portion of the shop is in this weird like dead zone as far as cell signal goes, and then Wi-Fi also. It's in this weird dead zone back there. It's a strange spot that, like, because the cell tower is like over there, and it's like just in that kind of shadow area where we don't get great cell service out at the shop. So it seems to me the only thing I could do in that regards would be to increase the internet and carry the Wi-Fi out there, which is now headed in the right direction. And all that wiring is going to be going in over the Thanksgiving weekend, so look forward for a very uninformative wiring videos of me crawling around in the in the basement and attic and stuff. Let's see, Aquarium Co-op, I think that's how you get the co-op to move to you, offer us insane fast internet. Yeah, you're going to have to move down to the south end, Corey. Sorry to tell you. You're going to have to move down here where the infrastructure is supported by not only the local community, but it's also supported by our government here, down here in Pierce County. You're going to have to move south, come on down here and occupy a big, gigantic warehouse space down here. I think that's what the out in the ether say. If you were to travel around out in the ether, that's what it says. All right, let me catch up with the chat here a little bit. Have to click over the little window. There we go. Joel's maintaining composure while the Fish World's heroes make violent and deadly threats via chat. I always maintain composure. I'm not afraid until somebody's actually got the gun pointed at me, I guess, if that makes sense. Really fast internets plus tacos, Aquarium Co-op 2.0. That's right. It'll actually have a taco factory out back. If he moves the Aquarium Co-op down to the south end, there'll be a taco factory in it, right? That would be the thing. That would be the thing to do. All right, let's see. With that much speed, you should be able to send a taco dinner. Wave said I could get that speed, and I was like, I don't plan to be the next Corvus. Yeah, correct. Aquarium Co-op's going for the. We will now have 2 connections. I will be seeing if I can combine them to compete. Which, yeah, that'd be the right thing to do. Frank Dominguez has arrived. There he is. I'll share the attic, but I'll be the big spoon. That's a smart move. I like to be the little spoon, so, you know, that works, right? What's the Flourish Excel dose for BBA? From Melissa Bell. I'll be going over that extensively over the next couple weeks, but basically, if you read on the back of the bottle, the recommended dosage, you're going to you triple that daily for a week, if that makes sense, or until it turns bright red, and then we'll turn gray and whoosh, die right off. So it might take 5 days, it might take 8 days, just going to have to keep dosing it and slowly upping it. You don't want to just dump the whole bottle in there like a crazy person. You have to ramp it up. You want to ramp it up over time. So Let's see here. My internet provider may be adding an extra gerbil to the wheel in 2019. Well, good luck. Hopefully they're like Siberian gerbils or something, the durable, powerful ones. All About DIY, was it Frank Dominguez again? Nope, today it was Tim Lewis was the first one to the chat. Gone Mad's got the new Xbox, Yummy 4K Gaming. That's pretty dope. Let's see. All right. Bruce B with the super chat, the $2 super chat, asking, how do you keep German blue rams properly? Well, I guess it's kind of a long, I guess, is that a long answer? It feels like a long answer. I don't know. The best situation that I've ever been able to keep German blue rams in was a heavily planted tank. I would highly recommend there to be a lot of nice hiding areas for them to hang out. So I would get a very, very heavily planted tank before I added them to anything. The biggest concern that I always had with my blue rams that I had blue rams for quite a while. Maybe I'd like to say like 2 years or something like that. I had them, and it's weird to say that seems like quite a while, but I mean, for me to just keep one fish in one tank, 2 years is a really long time. I get to that 6-month mark and I'm like, oh, I gotta get something else. I gotta change something. But I kept those guys for a long time. But the biggest issue that I always had was any kind of movement around the tank would always would freak them out. And they would end up damaging themselves. So they're an extremely fast swimmer when they need to. And one of the big issues was, until I had like a really densely planted tank and they could kind of just get their own little areas where they could just hang out and feel safe, they more or less would freak out and damage themselves by swimming away very rapidly. So, I mean, I don't know if you go out there and necessarily read this from anyone else. I never like posted it on a forum or anything like that, but that was the biggest issue that I had with keeping them. The water parameters for them are actually really, really easy to do. I think between 70 and 80 degrees is really easy. So I normally kept them on the lower. I normally keep things on the lower side. If somebody says 80 degrees is the highest they can be, I would go 74, if there's a range. Right around there is pretty typical and that temperature is for a lot of, the 72, 74, 70 to 75. There's a lot of things that you can keep in that temperature and not see any downside to it. Their pH, as far as I can recall, their pH area, the range of pH that they can exist in is pretty big also. I think it's like 5.5 to 7.2 or something like that. So they have a pretty big pH range that they can hang out in. And if they're aquacultured, which means that if they were born and raised in an aquarium, then they're going to be pretty durable fish. But like I said, the one thing that I really encountered with them was them basically getting freaked out. If people like spazzing out in front of the tank, or people just walking by with groceries or something like that, it would bother them. So I would make sure that you have the tank be really nicely, heavily set up with a lot of plants and spaces for them to kind of hang out and make their little hot, their cubby areas or whatever, the little zone that they kind of feel safe in, and make sure that it's not in a real high traffic area where they're consistently freaking out. Let me try to think about any other kind of water parameters. It's pretty easy to get them to breed too. If just bring them up conditioning wise with live foods, if you can get live foods at all, or just kind of power feed them with things like frozen bloodworms and stuff like that, and they'll definitely get ready for that, and then bring in a big water change, and they'll start getting ready to breed if there's males and females in there. As pretty typical with most heavily colored fish, this is kind of the way I normally relate it to people. Like a heavily colored fish, you want like two males, or sorry, not two males. You want like 2 or 3 females to 1 male. So it really depends if you want to breed them or just keep them. If you're just keeping them, then just keep your nice small water changes, and then they won't get super aggro if they're trying to breed and freak out and get spaces and stuff like that. So hopefully that helps out with some of the questions you had. It was kind of it's a big question. How do you do it properly? I mean, with pants on, right? Wear your pants. It's the adult thing to do. And I know people will comment that I didn't make my own coffee today because I was out running a quick little errand for my lady. I got some surprises for my lady back there, which is none of your business, because she might be listening to this, and then I would ruin the surprises. The surprises. So let's not ruin them. Let's see. What is Joel rubbing in Corey and Jimmy? I bet it's Easy Green, not on sale, not on sale at the co-op. Bracken would so much rather live in Tacoma than Seattle. Agreed. I would have disagreed with that 10 years ago, but it has flip-flopped. If anybody is interested in moving to the Pacific Northwest area, it has definitely flip-flopped. Tacoma has all of the cool things that Seattle used to have. If that's concerning to you at all, you could probably look it up a little bit. But all of the cool stuff that used to happen in Seattle now happens in Tacoma. The housing prices are much more affordable down here. The infrastructure is just getting better and better and better, whereas in Seattle it's sort of just falling apart and getting worse and worse and worse. So that's why we moved to Tacoma. That's really the big thing. So those were the big reasons. Wow, a New Zealand person. We actually do have a fair amount of New Zealanders that watch this show. So I would like the 4 or 5 people that live in New Zealand to, join forces and try and figure out how to get a cool fish convention that Vicky and I could come out there for the YouTube and stuff. And then we'd be able to come to New Zealand and visit. And then we could tell like the 20 or 30 people that live in Australia to just meet us in New Zealand. Right? That's the way to do it. And when I looked at it on the map, Australia's like right here, and New Zealand's just like, you just go right around the corner. Like, super easy. But we love the New Zealand fans. Thank you guys for coming out. That's dope. And a quick note that I did the 2 streams yesterday, and I don't know if the 2 streams is going to work moving forward. We just really didn't get a lot of respect from the YouTube. As far as like doing 2 streams in a day, I felt like, wow, we're gonna double up. We do two streams in a day, we'll get twice as good. We got half the response of what normally doing 1 stream does. So I did 2 yesterday, and we got half the response of what a normal 1 does. So I don't think doing 2 in a day is going to work very well. So I'm actually considering, I do happen to have some other YouTube channels, which may or may not come as a surprise. Surprise! May or may not come as a surprise to you guys. So, what I'm thinking is, and let me know if this is crazy, but what I'm thinking to do is maybe rehashing one of those channels for the European stream. Now, I don't know. I don't know if that seems like a good idea or a bad idea. So I'm considering it. I'm considering what to do about that, because, like I said, we did the 2 streams yesterday, and then we basically got harangued by the YouTube, right? So I'm trying to figure out what to do to make that work, because I know that there were a lot of people that were like, "Hey, man, I want the early stream." So I'm thinking that's going to be the best thing to do. I think that's going to be the best thing to do as we move forward, is possibly start up one of those other channels. And I don't know. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about that. You know, if that's a worthy endeavor or not. And I might just do it whether you don't like it or not. But either way, we'll see. We'll see. It's a lot of work to start another thing up and start the whole thing to do a whole nother one, you know, right? That just made me sigh. It just made me audibly sigh while I was thinking about it. Let's see here. Well, I was going to catch up with the chat, but it seems like a lot of you guys are talking about... Let's see. I love Joel's channel dedicated to chicken versus duck eggs. That's pretty good. First movies that came out in color was The Wizard of Oz. Whole family sat down to watch it. 54 Punchy. Yes. I think that was the first... I don't think that was the first movie in color. I think that was the first movie in Technicolor. Although, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Somebody Google that. Let's see what happens. New Zealand and the Pacific Northwest have that temperate rainforest connection. That is right. I want to move to New Zealand and be a sheep farmer for like five years or something. That would be dope. No one lives in Olympia. People only drive through it to get to Portland from Tacoma or Seattle. That's right. Don't move to Olympia. It is a pass-through town. Steven Scoglin says to hit the smash the like button, please. This is strong language. We like it, though. All right, as we move on to the video portion. I wanted to give you guys just a little preview here of a quick time lapse of some of the nonsense that's been going on here in the studio building portion of the room here. This studio space, the art space, studio space, whatever you want to call this room here. And so I figured, hey, why not turn on the camera? Why not edit a little bit? Why not make a little time lapse? You guys can kind of get an idea of some of the stuff that's been going on. I've been regularly encountering problems with this computer, mainly because it hasn't been set up for like 6 months. It's just been kind of sitting around, not really doing much. Hasn't been hooked up to the internet. So whenever I did stuff with it, it was just operating on its own operating system. And well, maybe not 6 months, maybe 3 months, because I did replace the CPU earlier this year. I replaced the video card, did a bunch of cleaning, and put in a bunch of hard drives that I ended up taking out of it. So one of the problems it was having is the fans were rattling around like crazy because 2 of them had burnt out the bearings for whatever reason. So I had to take those out, and I also had to replace some heatsink stuff and stupid technical talk, whatever. Basically, I had to fix a bunch of parts with the computer and allocate some more space so that I could operate within the network here, so I can edit video on this and send it to that computer so that we can stream with the video portion that is with the video that is edited, right? So I know it's a little bit out of the realm for a lot of people to even bother with any of this kind of stuff, but this is one of those things that I love to do on a regular basis, is just do all this nerd McNerderton stuff. It is a lot of fun, and so today was going to be the inaugural stream from that setup, but as you can see from that blue screen right there where it kept updating and updating stuff, it has been going through the software funk. It basically has it basically hasn't gotten any vitamins or anything for a really long time, so now it's going through the its growing pains of whatchamacallit. It's going through its growing pains while it, it's taking its vitamins, it's eating its vegetables, it's going through all that stuff, and it's having to basically redo all of its operating system and going through that. So it keeps shutting on, turning on and turning off, and the last thing I wanted it to do was decide to update in the middle of a stream, and then you guys all just like, what happened? And it's like, oh man, crap. Let's see, Bracken says the 1 of 6 downloaded screen for like 5 hours. So basically, to explain that really quickly, I got 5 of 6 of all the crazy updates all done, and the last one requires a reboot, and it keeps hanging at like 6% of the last update. So then I have to go back. We'll have to go back and what's the word? I have to go back and kind of just manual update and get all that kind of stuff done. Frank Dominguez is I just popped up right over here while I was talking. Where did that go? Hey Joel, what brand of substrate do you recommend for a planted aquarium? I 100% fully and regularly endorse the Fluval Stratum, which is in the description. A link for the Stratum is in the description of every single video that I upload. So whether it's a live stream or whatever, it will be down in the description down below. Let's see. So the Patreon's there. Wallstad's book is there. The Stratum link in the description of every single video. Just click on that, and then just order a whole bunch of Stratum and then a whole bunch of other stuff from Amazon too while you do that. That is one of the portal links that will take you to Amazon and say, hey, I sent you. So that is there. The Fluval Stratum is 100% the one that I recommend. It's the one that I use whenever I set up a new aquarium and stuff like that. I do add some other stuff, but not necessary. You can just run straight up with the old Stratum, and it will be great. It's the one-stop thing. And by the way, the one-stop thing is pretty important because a lot of people out there think that they're going to save money. You know, they're going to save money by like dirting their tank or any of that kind of stuff. You're really not. You're going to end up probably spending the same amount of money. You'll probably end up spending the same amount of money and all that kind of stuff by the time you get done messing around with the dirt and the 6 other different kind of things that you need to buy, and the driving around and the messing around and all the nonsense that you're going to end up doing with it. That you're probably not going to end up spending money in my experience, or saving money in my experience in the long run. Sashimi Whiskey says, oh my God, it's a SM7B. I cried today when Corey made me break down that box. Why would you cry for breaking down the box? It's the best microphone in the world. I mean, okay. For the application, for people talking into it. It might not be the best singing on stage microphone, but it is the best voice microphone out there. The link in the description down below is a shortened link. It's a hyperlink, and they don't like, for whatever reason, YouTube does not like you posting hyperlinks in the chat. So, where did the... If there was a thing that you, if any of the, jeez, I'm like tripping over my own tongue over here. If any of the moderators wanted to link a thing, you could link the Amazon influencer page. Would be the one that you could throw into the chat. Always be sure to go through the Amazon banner and stuff like that before you buy a bunch of stuff at Amazon. I've noticed we had a bunch of drop off from people forgetting to buy their groceries and stuff through the Amazon link. Feel free to do that, or maybe you're supporting somebody else through it. That's totally cool. If you want to support some local guys that really care about you, you could go to aquariumcoop.com and buy a bunch of plants, because they have a huge plant sale going on this weekend. And I'm gonna tell you what, I might not be ordering plants off of there, but I have plants from the Aquarium Co-op, and I would buy them from there if I needed anything right now. But being the person that I'm probably going to go up there in person, I don't need to order them shipped, because I could just be like, hey man, hey buddy, I need some bulbitis, bro. You got some bulbitis? Can you stick it in a Ziploc bag, man, and then put that Ziploc bag in a brown paper bag, and then throw it in the driveway. You can throw it in the driveway, and then I'll just act like I just found this paper bag with the bulbitis greens in it, right? So I would recommend to get your plants there if that's what you're looking for. I would check out their fertilizer and their dry goods and all that kind of stuff while you're at it. And it also another thing, if you want to support those guys by ordering what you were already going to order anyhow. If you wanted to support. If you want to support this channel, it's a quick one-step. Head over to. It's a quick one-step over to the the Patreon, www.patreon.com/Joel_C. Hit up on that, and you just end up being a supporter on a monthly thing. It's on a monthly thing. We have a lot of people that kick in $1. We have a lot of people that kick in $5, and their names are scrolling down there in the Star Wars text right down there, kind of thing going on. Oh, what happened here? What are you doing? Turn that chat back on. Goofy thing. Oh, look at that. That's a great video of the back of my neck and my shirt. That's pretty good right there. Barbara Jackson says, ooh, white and blue filtered material. That's right. Okay, so now that you guys have seen the first run of the video, hopefully we'll be able to go over it here and explain some of the stuff for you. A lot of the... Man, what did I edit this? I edited this ridiculously bad. Oh, it's kind of the best. Now I remember. I made a decision. It was either exclude this or put it in. And I figured, hey, put it in there. People like to see the back of your ear. Right, bro? Yeah, right. And then you'll actually see me notice it right there. Give you a wider shot. So this bamboo that is down in here in this first chamber right here is definitely not an essential to the filtration, but it is a really cheap and easy way to add a little bit of live plants to your filtration. You can do this in a hang-on back filter. It's fairly difficult to do this in a canister filter, although there probably is some kind of weird way that you could pull it off. But my guess would be you shoot water all over the place at some point in time, and it'd be totally crazy. But in a sump or a hang-on back filter, it's actually pretty good to do. There's the blue and white filter material. I've talked about this before. I don't have anything to do with PuroClean. I just find this to be the best one that out of all the crazy kinds that I've gotten, this is by far not by far, but if you're talking cost and how well it works, not only does it work better, but it is, I think by foot, it's like a little bit cheaper by foot, because I think this comes out to like 95 cents a foot or something like that. I think that's right. No. $1.85 or something like that a foot. Either way, it's been a long time since I've done the price break, but you get what I'm saying. It works out pretty darn good. And as you guys know, I go through large sections of filter floss, this filter media, floss media here. I go through this quite a bit. So I buy it by the roll, as you guys saw me kicking the rolls around and stuff, and then I just cut it to the size that I want. Now, the big reason for that is A, it's a little more cost-effective, B, it being more cost-effective means I don't have to rinse it out as often. If we're being straight-up honest here, rinsing out filter floss is just a huge waste of time as far as I'm concerned. It's one of the things I'm really not very ecologically minded about, because I would rather spray it out once and then throw it away after that. But one of the good things about running the sump like this is that I have such big pieces of filter floss, and I have 3 of them running in tandem. You can see on the left there, I have that dark blue one, and then I have one in the middle running like kind of vertically like this, and then the one at the end is actually folded over, and you'll see me replace that one in the video here. So because I have 3 in here, it makes it really easy to do the maintenance portion, because what ends up happening is I'll replace it about once a month. I'll replace one of the two of the white and blue ones, not both at the same time, but one of the two. Now, the main reason for that is that there is a possibility, because of how much bacteria and stuff is sitting on this, that I could end up with a bit of a mini cycle by pulling all this floss out and throwing it away. Whether or not that's actually going to happen, chances are pretty low, but I prefer to stay on the more cautious side and the little bit easier side to just alternate between the two, and it just makes sure that that I don't pull out too much bacteria all at the same time, right? You see what I'm saying? So I replace one at a time, and this is the one that I'm replacing here is the last one, which is the one that gets folded over and fills in that gap. When do I know to change this filter floss here at the end? Once it gets so gunked up with stuff, it'll slowly fall down to the bottom. As it falls down to the bottom, that's when I know, oh man, it's super gunked up. It's not going to get ungunked up. It's just going to get more and more nar, and it'll be time to take it out. So one of the minor concerns that I have is with the large colony of shrimp that I have living down here in the sump is just to always double check by putting it in a container and double check that I don't have a bunch of baby shrimp getting thrown into the garbage. I've had that happen in the past. It's just a little bit of an extra step. That goofy little blue bucket right there is a great way to do it. Shine my little headlamp in there and double check to make sure. Today there was only one in there. So just one little guy managed to get into it and was sitting on it. So picked him off, threw him back in the water. Not a big deal. Using that bright LED light, it's pretty easy to pick them up on there. Let me answer some questions here real quick. Barbara Jackson's got a fever for more cowbell. Well, that's pretty smart. I put my pants on one leg at a time, just like everybody else. The only difference is once I got him on, I make gold records. I'm laughing at somebody else's joke that I just threw out there. I've only gotten halfway through the puffer talk because I get in too late and Corvus starts his stream. Nope, sorry about that. We go 4 o'clock every day, Monday to Friday. Let's see here. New plants tomorrow for those that are sold out now. Some people complaining about that plants are out of stock. I know that there's a bunch of shipments and things coming in if things are out of stock or whatever at the aquarium co-op. Just be patient and hit the refresh button. Check it out. Things will be coming back online. Awesome show, Joel, but you need more cowbell. Oh, that's why. Got it. Let's see. Have to have a veggie garden full of fish poop plants. Very much agree with that. At times I do actually rinse the floss out and put all the leavings from the rinsing into the garden. Right, this time of year it's not really essential to be doing that because what's the word I'm looking for here? Because it's wintertime and I don't need to be doing that stuff, but I'll put it into the compost. Normally I'll just leave, whatever filter material in that blue bucket, and then I'll take it outside and spray it down in the blue bucket and just squish, 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 squish. I honestly don't spend a ton of time on it because, doesn't require a ton of time. Let's see. So clean it reflects. Lisa Gum says that thumbnail is awesome. Hello, everybody. Oh, thank you. I've been working on my thumbnail game, you guys. Hopefully it's good. Does it entertain you? Are you entertained? All right. Well, that's good. If you are, and if you're not, then sorry. I'm working on it. Try to become more personable and kind and nice, smart. I don't know. Trying to decide if I should go to the store in the snow or just hibernate and go tomorrow. Hibernate and go tomorrow. It was crazy when I was at the store earlier. For whatever reason, I think people are stocking up because it's Friday. I don't know. People were going nuts at the store. It's weird. Corey's trying to wreck my marriage with his sale. I told my husband this, and he agreed. Candy, just buy the plants. Tell your husband that he's going to be okay. He's going to be fine. I didn't say that, but tell your husband he'll be fine. Just order some plants. You guys, you'll be fine. Fish nerd, my thumbnails are going through an awkward teenage phase. Yeah, I know how that is. I know how that is, that's for sure. All right. So, as we move through the sump here, so that very first chamber right there is full of what you can see is those ceramic rings right there. Oh, that's right. That's what I was going to do on this stream. I forgot. Hold on. Pause this. And we have to go... Where's that thing? Hold on. Add widget. Where is it? Where's the... Hold on a second. Oh, there it is. Okay. Whiteboard. Yes. All right. You guys, we've engaged the whiteboard. Whiteboard, engage. Oh, okay. We want it normal, and why is it blue? We don't want it blue. What color do we want the whiteboard to be? Writing. We'll make it... Let's see. What's the offset here that looks better? Bright yellow. Okay. So, it'll be bright yellow, and we'll be whiteboarding. Okay. So, over here... This is hard to do with a mouse. I don't know how to art with a mouse. I don't know how you guys do it. This is supposed to be an arrow, right? Right in here. Right in this area right here. Okay, right in that area right there. Hold on, let me clear the whiteboard. Okay. Now I think I got it. Right in this area right here. Look at that circle. That's a good-looking circle, you guys. Oh, it runs out after a little bit. Okay. So in that, right in that circle right there is, as you can see, is piles and piles of bags of the ceramic style bio media. Now, I've got into many conversations about the biological filtration media, the positives and negatives of this and the positives and negatives of that. And I will say, hey, the ceramic is the cheapest one. Does it work? Yes. Does it maybe work less than some other ones? Maybe. Story's still out. The jury's still out, and there's not a whole lot of people out there that are actually... in my opinion, doing a bunch of actual science in regards to that. It's normally just like, hey, we make a product and it's super bitchin', you know, and you're like, okay, well, what? So you have a porous material that bacteria will live in, right? Can't I just put a bunch of porous stuff in there? And so the reason I like to use it is, one of the big reasons I like to use it is because the... What's the word I'm looking for here? It's cheap. It's cheap and effective. It comes in these nice little baggies. It's very usable, whether it's in a hang-on back filter, in a canister filter, or in a sump. It's super usable, and I believe here in the video I actually pull one out at some point in time, and I don't know how to turn the video back on, because right now we have the... damn, how do we do this? Oh, there it is. Pause, play. Is it playing now? What's it doing? Oh, whoops, that's the wrong one. Okay, hold on a second here. That's that one. What? Oh, it's up here. Pfft. I was clicking on the wrong thing, you guys. What do you want me to do? Click on the correct thing? That would be weird. All right, so, okay. I believe I pull these out, and they're in these kind of like net bags with a zipper top. So actually really usable, really effective. I believe the last time I ordered it, I think it was like $12 for like 6 bags of it, which takes up a lot, which provides a lot in my estimation. I've got probably 20 or something of them in the first chamber here. I've got a bunch of loose in that little bin in the second chamber right here. Oh, this whiteboard feature's dope. There we go. We got that right there. And then... so I have a ton of it in there, and it works just fine. Corey and I recently talked about it on a podcast, which may or may not be confusing to some people. But the reason why I have it all in the first chamber is because I keep it heavily aerated to keep my aerobic bacteria in a more beneficial environment for the aerobic bacteria. Anaerobic bacteria is not bad, in my opinion. It is not good to promote it, though, okay? It's basically like if you think 80-20, right? You're trying to go 80-20 on what you're going for with aerobic versus anaerobic bacteria. And the cool thing about it is that if you're promoting aerobic bacteria, it will grow. If you're promoting anaerobic bacteria, it will grow and reproduce. So what I do is I promote aerobic bacteria. Anaerobic bacteria will be there also, but I want more of the aerobic bacteria. It's just more beneficial for a really closed system like an aquarium or like a fish farm or anything, koi ponds, whatever. These are really small systems, and that anaerobic bacteria can be helpful in really big systems, or for instance in your septic system where you're just breaking down poop and pee in your septic system, but not necessarily super effective in this closed environment for the health of the fish and the shrimp and the things that you have living in there. And so that's my reasoning for promoting the aerobic bacteria over the anaerobic bacteria. They're both there. They are both present. I just want to promote the aerobic bacteria. And it's a much longer conversation to get into that if we're going to get into that at some point in time. But I just wanted to give you kind of just some of the basics that I'm promoting one over the other, because that's the one that I really want. 54 Punchy had a kid tell me that a drawing I did was a waste of time because he could do that in less than a minute on the computer. I asked him if he could sell it for $700, though. I won. Yeah. So, that being said, one of the main things that I do in my filtration down here also is I have some plants growing down here. As you can see, I got the duckweed growing down there that helps. I have a bunch of extra spare plants down there that are just growing down there. You can see them just kind of floating and or planted in certain things. But I also have the, this is just your standard issue bamboo over here that I've just had growing in my sump for a long, long time. In this first chamber right here. At some point in time, I pull it out, and and you guys can get a good look at just how long this bamboo has been growing in here. I'm actually pulling off all the dead leaves, because the dead leaves aren't going to do anything beneficial for it, so might as well just get them out of there. This thing has sprouted into multiple plants by this point in time. It started out as a little tiny stick that was like maybe 4 inches long. It sprouted into multiple plants. It has multiple sprouts on each one now too. It's just a little helper down here doing its own thing, and plus it kind of makes a little palm fronds down here while I'm down here screwing around, so it feels like I'm maybe like in a little relaxing environment. So I've got that biomedia, I've got the plants, I've got that kind of stuff. What else do I add in here? In this first chamber in here, you guys will notice me pull out some almond leaves at some point in time in this video. Once a month, I add 2. Initially, when I start out, I add a whole package, whether it's 20 or 25 of them. Here's the almond leaves right here. I can't pause the video, but those were them right there. I just stuck them in there. Basically, what I do is I re-up whenever I replace that material right there that I just pointed at, that one, or this one right here, I'll add 2 more leaves into the sump, because they're essentially just kind of used up by then. So I'll add 2 more leaves into the sump, adds a little bit of tannins, adds a little bit of, added nutrients and micronutrients and macronutrients from them breaking down, a little bit of food for the shrimp that are in the sump. So all that stuff kind of does, it helps out, and that's just kind of my basic maintenance. Now, between these sort of 3 or 4 items, that's all you really need. That's all I ever run. This is what I run consistently. This is essentially the setup that I run all the time. Now, I run more elaborate or smaller versions of this. Most of the other gimmicks and all that other kind of stuff out there, you really don't need. If you were trying to figure out how to set up your filter and it was seeming really confusing, here's how to make it really simple for yourself. Some biomedia, some actual plant breakdown material, some live plants growing in there, and some filter floss to just get out the fines and take those out. Now, one of the things that I do to promote, you can see all that bubbling that's going on right over here in the left-hand side right here. Now, the overflow drain here is a Durso overflow drain. What the Durso overflow drain does is it pulls oxygen from the room, well, air, sorry, pulls air from the room, which is mostly nitrogen, you know, CO2, oxygen, all that stuff. It pulls that down and mixes it as it drains down into the first chamber of the sump, which is going to promote that bacterial growth that I want. Some of the anaerobic bacteria will be right down here in this tray, and this will all be aerobic bacteria over here from the promotion of this oxygen flow that's going on up there from the standpipe that comes down from up above. So why don't I have air stones in my tank? That's why, right there. I don't have air stones or bubblers or sponge filters because of that reason right there. I have enough oxygen constantly being mixed in 24 hours a day that I don't need to worry about that unless there's a power outage, right? So that's hopefully that kind of breaks down some of the stuff for maybe the new people, maybe the old people, maybe there are people out there spending money on stuff that maybe they're a little bit confused about. You could simplify kind of what you're working on. Charcoal and all that other stuff will come in as maybe you treat for something. You could add charcoal if you're trying to remove the extra medication and all that kind of stuff. Purigen is a good example of something that does pull to get your water clarity in. I'm not somebody that's super concerned about water clarity. I like some tannin in the water, but it does help out if your water's clearer for, you know, if you want to make fancy YouTube videos or you want to take pictures and post them up on, you know, Instagram and try to get some Instagram likes, you know, so that people are like, man, I like your Instagramming, it's dope. Then it's really helpful to eliminate some of those tannins and things along those lines. But, you know, as far as the system goes here, you can really simplify what you're doing. You could do this in like an AquaClear hang-on back filter. This is how I used to do it in those, it's just to a smaller degree. And I used to even add the oxygen flowing into the AquaClear from just a basic little air tube fed into the intake so that it was promoting that bacteria that I wanted to promote within the AquaClear. You know, whether it's a AquaClear 110 or all the way down to the 20, you can do it that way. It makes it really simplifies your filtration. Just a little filter pad and the biomedia. Just bulk up on the biomedia, and you'll be working in business. You know what I'm saying? I used to even cut down the almond leaves and stick those into an AquaClear hang-on back. If that seems weird to you, then I think it's working, man. If it seems weird to you, then it's working. Right? Right. So I don't know if we really seem to have too many questions in here. By the way, everyone, I'm sure you all know that's Lucky Bamboo, not real bamboo. Real bamboo rots in water. Yes, that is Lucky Bamboo. Thank you very much, Barbara Jackson, one of our big contributors to the show here, and also, you know, just a big contributor into the fish fam. Speaking of the fish fam, we need to answer a question from Tim Lewis off of the Patreon. And you know what I should have done? I should have taken a screenshot of this, but I'm going to read it to you guys. He asked, question about Pandy Corydoras. When I first got them, they were white and black like you see in the pictures, but mine have taken on a reddish tint, kind of matching the dragonstone I have in this tank. Is this anything to worry about? Is this anything to worry about? Now, if you have some odd coloring with any fish, you could have the possibility of some kind of disease or a possible infection or that kind of stuff. Now, if it's just the coloring of the fish, always take into consideration where you got them from and where they've come to. You know, for instance, if they were at a unnamed superstore, right, where they had the SpongeBob hot pink gravel where they were living in, and you said, I want these pandy coras, Pandy Corridoras. You wanted those ones, and you said, yeah, bag those up. I'm going to take them home. So they come from the fluorescent light of a Walmart or something, right? And you turn around and you bring them home, and then over a week they kind of start changing their coloring. Guess what? They're trying to blend into the environment a little bit better. Now, you could have a slight issue with some of the food that you're feeding to them. Some fish will change color, just like if people eat too many carrots, you'll start to turn orange. If you're possibly feeding them stuff that has a lot of dye in it, you could be coming up with a slightly dyed fish. But this doesn't sound too crazy. I've seen it before where Cories will change color a little bit depending on the environment of which tank that they're in, just to kind of blend in a little bit better. So I wouldn't be super concerned unless the strange coloring has something to do with a disease or anything along those lines. A big help would be to post it up on the Patreon, like maybe a picture of when you got them, and then a picture of where you put them, and then we could, but it's probably something to do with just making sure that they just to make sure that they're in good shape as time goes on. But that's one of the cool things about the Patreon, is that we can't have people post pictures up like onto the chat or on YouTube or anything like that. If you guys can post up, onto the Patreon. So that's one of the things that's pretty helpful about the Patreon. If you have a question, we do have a big community on the Patreon that people can chime in and help you out also. So that's one of those things that, some people are like, I don't want to make an account. I don't want to kick in $1 or $10 or anything like that. So if it's not worth it to you, cool. Just remember, there are a bunch of cool kids up on the Patreon that have some a lot of knowledge and a lot of good experience and stuff like that can chime in on stuff and also help you out. So it's not necessarily only my brain. We have 124 people on there. We hope to grow it. We want to get to, what's the number we want to get to? 200,000, right? We want to get to 200,000 billion. 200 million. That's the goal, right? Is that a lofty goal? Yes. It's good. Lofty goal. That's where we're going. The sky's the limit. And Tim Lewis with a super chat says, thanks for the information. Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for the super chat. It all goes back into producing more of these shows, paying off that internet bill from today. Bo howdy. We'll see how that goes. Let's see. Joel, not Jowls. Damn autocorrect. Well, you could go Jowls. It's fine. I'm kind of jowlsy, right? Let's see. Looks like quite cheap to get Lucky Bamboo seeds online. Yes, Lucky Bamboo seeds are super cheap. So if you want to get seeds, they're pretty easy to sprout too. Not too difficult. Let's see, glass boxes. Maybe this will be the solution to my nitrate issues. It would definitely help. It would definitely help probably your nitrate issues. Any of that. So one of the things that I use with that bamboo is it does give me an idea of what is going on as far as nitrates and things like that without having to specifically test. Plants are kind of a barometer of what is going on in your aquarium, especially if you're like me and have 5 fish in there or 6 fish or 10 fish in 300 gallons of water, and you're like, well, it seems like everything's going fine, and just kind of wander off like a weirdo. So it is kind of a barometer. Like, I'll notice a whole bunch of growth out of that bamboo. If, for instance, I have like really, really dirty water, there's a lot of nutrients available for for that bamboo to pick up. And I'll typically notice that there's a little bit of algae growth in conjunction with that, and then go, time to give a little test here and find out what's going on. Oftentimes, I would like to say I know exactly what it's gonna be every single time, but it's almost different every single time. So it's not normally like one answer. It's not normally one answer. It's always kind of playing that little game. And we had some people yesterday asking about the kitty litter, and we had a great. Where did it go?
We had the answer here. We had the answer from somebody who, it's been so long since I'd done a planted tank with kitty litter that I didn't have like, hey man, here's the go-to. Some of you out there have been questioning like, hey, is there something a little bit cheaper? Is there cheaper ways to go? The old school way, sort of like, and I wouldn't say that this is like the first planted aquarium substrate, but this was the first thing that you could get that was sort of like a substrate. If that makes sense. I don't know. Maybe that's totally confusing. But some people figured out quite a while ago that kitty litter is usable as a substrate. Now, I couldn't give you guys a specific brand to be looking for, but thank you to Offenders53. A little shout out to Offenders53. One option is the Walmart House Label Special Kitty. It is pure clay with no additives, and it is $4 for a 25-pound bag. So the Walmart House Label Special Kitty with no additives in it. That will be the one that you're looking for. So big thanks to Fenders53. Shout out for sending in the message. That's the one that you'd be looking for. That old kitty litter it will be cloudy if you just dump it in, but you can rinse it off. The old kitty litter is not like the new stuff. It's not like the new clumping or any of that kind of crazy stuff. It is the old school stuff. So, as I was saying, that it's not something that I would do. I did it a long time ago because it was like, it was like kind of the new thing at the time, and was super exciting. Like, wow, somebody figured out that like kitty litter is super dope. But yeah, it's 100% pure clay, no clumping additives, no smell additives, no nothing additives. Just make sure that's what it is. It's essentially, the old stuff is just like, it's just clay. It's just like hard clay. It's pretty easy to rinse off. It's not very difficult to rinse off, but it is pretty ugly. I will tell you that. It's not going to give you the real aesthetic that I think most people are looking for. So that is a definite downside, and it is a. Oh, so yeah, Mark Leal is saying, oh my God, cation exchange memories. That's right. It has a great cation exchange capacity to it. Now, here's the downside. It has no nutrients to it. It's not ready to do much. So you're going to have to plant the aquarium and then keep dosing fertilizer, and then maintain that dosing for a really long extended period of time. So that's definitely the downside to me. It's another one of those reasons that like why dirting an aquarium is not very cost effective in the long run. You're going to spend a lot of money resolving issues over the long run. So that's just kind of my take on it, my opinion. But there's of course a million ways to do this in a positive way. So if that's the way that you like to do it, then cool. And not a bad thing. Let's see. Steven Scoggin posted, while I've been listening tonight, 75 is set up for plants. Oh, well, there you go. He's got the 75 set up. Who's a little hotshot with his fish room coming right along? There we go, Steven Scoggin. Steven Scoggin. Right? Fenders 53. Hey, there he is. Yes, I started a couple of tanks with Special Kitty from Walmart. Got to cap it, though. That's right. I was just giving you a shout-out for sending the message. There was the Walmart's the brand that's out there. Like I said, I haven't done that in such a long time that I couldn't tell you a specific brand, but a special thank you to Fenders53 for chipping in and sending a message. Thanks, man. I totally appreciate it. Or I said thanks, man. I don't know. Thank you, person. Human. I think human. Yes. Okay. Let's see. We've got a couple other things I want to get to real quick. Let's see. Melissa Bell sent me a question, but that we'll have to wait for next week because I'll have to show you guys how to do that. The Dutch Aquarist, I love the idea to call the early stream the Netherlands stream. Tiny country, but we are everywhere. I like it. Yes, I'll have to figure out what's that area where Denmark, the Netherlands, and all that stuff called? There's probably a name for that region. I got to figure out what that region is. Maybe that's what I'll name it after. Because it would be weird to be just like one country, you know? But that region seems to be the region where I have a lot of people that tune in, so maybe I'll just call it that. But it'll probably also be on another channel. So, like I said earlier in the stream, we did 2 streams yesterday, and we got like wildly pretty much kind of punished for it by the YouTubes. And by the time we come down to the end of the show here, we've got a super extended 1 hour and 24 minutes. We're almost at an hour and a half here, so I'm going to have to be wrapping this up pretty quickly. But that's one thing I wanted to kind of run by you guys. I know that our goal was to not have any advertising at all, and it's working fine. The only downside is that anything that has nothing advertising-wise on it is being sort of sent into the cellar of YouTube. Basically, they're like, get out of here. So what I was thinking about doing is that like 5-second intro commercial that seems to be like the most minimal thing that you could have on as far as advertising is concerned. And I was thinking that maybe that would be like a middle ground, right? As far as like not having advertising, because there's be no like ad breaks or any of that nonsense in between. So I don't know. I would love to hear your guys' opinion. Like maybe head over to the Patreon and we can start a discussion about it or something like that. I'm certainly interested in trying to figure out how to how to make it work so that everybody's happy, at least in just like regular terms, you know what I mean? Not like, because the last thing I want to do is have like 15 commercials on an hour and a half long stream, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. I want to hear back from you guys because you guys are all the patronizers. You guys are all the guys that are contributing and stuff like that. But if the goal here is to grow the community, it seems like most videos are just getting pushed down and sort of sent away. So I don't know. Just trying to figure out what the good middle ground is so that and try to like just make it work so that we can keep growing. We can keep like going in that upward path. Because if we get to that point where we start going in the downward path, then that could be really problematic if we're trying to grow the community and do bigger projects, which is the whole goal here. That is really the goal here. To go ahead and start doing the some of those big projects, you know what I mean? Like, if Eric and Iris, like, let's say those guys buy a house, right? And they need help with setting up their big system. And it's like, oh man, I know we have enough contributions and all that kind of stuff. Like, I'm flying out there. I'm going to go help them, and just make it part of the show. Right. So that is ultimately the goal here, and to essentially be able to be doing that kind of stuff. So I'm also trying to figure out how we can grow, how we can just continue to grow and not end up dropping off because, we're really reliant on like a lot of the people to try and share the stuff when we could just actually, make the algorithm robot do it for us for that like 5-second commercial at the beginning. So I don't know, but I just want to be full disclosure here that like it's not a cash grab situation, because that skippable ad at the beginning is the one that you make the least amount of anything off of it. So I'm just trying to figure out the middle ground here, and of course I'm doing it live, right? So that's the great way to do it, right? So I don't know. The last thing I want to do is just end up having spent all this energy and then like have to stop doing it because it's like, oh, I went backwards, So I don't know. I don't have an answer, but hopefully you guys have an answer. I'd love you guys to throw it up like on the Patreon. One of the other things that I wanted to mention that is because it's Friday, like, hey, throw some shares out there, you know, like as far as like the Patreon or whatever, like share it out there to whatever thing you guys like. I know that I've heard from a lot of people that they're like, I heard a lot of people out there that were basically like, well, I don't know what to share to. It's like, I don't know, Facebook or whatever. I don't know. Just share it to whatever you like to share it to. And oftentimes I've heard people like, well, I'm too weird and nobody would like what I like. But there's like 88 people watching right now that maybe like it. I don't know. So there must be another one out there. So we're trying to find that other person, the 89th person. Right? So if we don't do that, then I don't know. I don't know what to do. All right, Nisi's got to go. That means I got to go. BC's Fish Room Global Domination for Dr. Fishley Strangelove. That is the goal. We're trying to hit that Patreon goal. We're trying to hit that goal hard so that next month I'll be able to do a bunch of Dr. Fishley Strangelove videos. There are still a bunch of producer spots open on the Patreon, so if there's somebody out there that's super rich, go for it. Go for the gusto. Go big. But I'd also like to give an extra shout out to Cute Nix for sending out the monitor. It is dope, and thank you very much. Now I have 2 monitors that match. And don't make my eyes feel like they're going to bleed after staring at it for 2 hours or 5 hours or 9 hours or anything like that. So I very much appreciate it. Thank you very much. And thank you very much for everybody tuning in. Thank you, everybody, for this great week. It's been a crazy week, but it's been a great week. A lot of weird stuff took a lot longer than it should have. And we'll just be rocking and rolling. We'll be back next on Monday from the co-op studios up north. So we'll be doing that on Monday. Pay attention to keep your notifications on this weekend because there may or may not be some special weird videos coming out. I don't know. Can't tell you. I can't tell you for sure. Haha. All right. Everybody have a fantastic night out there. Don't shoot off any freaking fireworks because it's ridiculous and dangerous, and somebody out there is going to get hurt. It just ain't going to be It just ain't gonna be good. You know what I mean? So, no fireworks. Let's get over that real quick. Have fun. Stay safe. Don't shoot off fireworks. There we go. Pretty simple. Up a little Friday out there for everybody. Have a fantastic night. And I'll go ahead and look around over here to find this button. Anybody seen this button?